analog versus E, however you want to describe that category difference. When you're designing a bike, how much carries over from the non-e-bike version to the e-bike version, or is there any major characteristic changes when it comes to the frame and suspension design around having that low slung weight on an e-bike?
There's not a lot. We talked earlier about kind of the philosophy, for how we do our suspension bikes. That really doesn't change, but there's just a little nuance, just like we talked about, an enduro bike might have a little bit different feel than a cross-country race bike.
Sure.
With the e-bikes, what we found is, the extra weight and mass of the system, it does change how the bike moves across the ground and through the terrain. And there's a little bit more of a planted feel. Part of that is just it's a heavier bike, so picking it up and over things is not as easy for most people, and you get more fatigued on your ride, unless you're really in shape and you just doing e-bikes all the time. So there's a little bit of inherent advantage, I think, in we found that we still have like similar progressivities in our leverage rates, but changing that leverage rate, the curvature of that leverage rate a little bit, and making the bike a little more planted, and just working with what the weight of the e-bike is giving you, where it wants to hug the ground and stay on the ground.
Amplify that.
Yeah, we want to amplify that rather than fight against it. Whereas if you look at, say, like some of our trail bikes and or enduro bike like Cassidy, like those bikes are actually pretty poppy and playful. If you push against them, they'll push back a little bit. So you can pump and push and pull through the terrain and work the terrain. They work best when you're riding at high energy, high input.
Yep.
You put in, it will give back, rather than being this big couchy thing that just it's just stuck to the ground and it's just going to monster truck through everything. And we're not pushing the e-bikes to that that level, but we're just going a click or two closer to that little bit more of a planted feel. To work with that extra weight of the bike and how they want to just kind of plow through and over everything. And then all rolls in with using 29-inch wheels and geometry and everything we do on that as well. So that's
really interesting to hear that. And I think it's when you ride the e-bikes, it's like, it feels so stuck to the ground. Well, that also could be in that design philosophy. It's not
some of that's on
just
purpose,
the weight, and it could be on purpose. So I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and we, so like that's specifically like to our notch. Our Moraine is a little bit lighter. It's a 150, 140, 145 travel e-bike with the Fazua system. It's a little bit lighter of a bike. That bike, maybe only one click, not two clicks. Whereas, the notch, we ended up going a couple clicks more planted.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the weight. And but yeah, it's fun. We've been messing around with stuff.